Let's go over all the games happened on Saturday. We got a few games. The first game is Detroit Pistons losing to Charlotte Hornets. Remember, guys, for next week, Detroit's got 5 games. So a lot of guys needs to be picked up. They're the only team who have 5 games. In the meantime, Charlotte Hornets still got 4 games. Very very nice. And LaMelo Ball. The big news is LaMelo Ball came back. You have to pick him up. Other than like if you still in the playoffs, right? And if you need another roster for Sunday, and you have acquisitions left, then maybe you don't pick up LaMelo Ball. That's the only situation because you're trying your best to win this week if it's a really close one. Otherwise, you got to pick up LaMelo Ball. They got four. I think it's a no-brainer. Obviously, 4 games next week. 4 games next week. The week after. So they have 8 weeks coming up, and LaMelo Ball is going to play all of them. And realistically, he could be a top 50 guy or even better. A lot of assists, steals, points, scores, rebound even, and get blocks. Like just a guy that does everything. It's just the efficiency could be rough sometimes, but too good to not have him. And Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart, those 2 guys, 5 games coming up. If that is their championship week, they could help you win. To be honest, 5 games of somebody versus 3. A lot of teams have 3 weeks. Celtics, Nets, Atlanta Hawks. Those teams like Trae Young. 3 games of Trae Young. Let's say he scores 30 points a game, which is pretty high for him. That's 90 points divided by 5. Like Sadiq Bey realistically could give you 18 points a game, right? 17, 18 points a game. That's more value just from the points perspective. Points is probably one of Trae Young's best category, just because they only have 3 games versus Sadiq Bey's 5. Isaiah Stewart, another guy. Mason Plumlee didn't play this game, so he got 26. I mean, who knows? Mason Plumlee might play next game, or maybe out for season. Who we don't know, and he's gonna sit down some back to for sure. So Isaiah Stewart is a must roster coming into the week. 5 weeks. This game also had 1 steal, 3 blocks, 9 points, only 2 rebounds, but as long as he's playing. And meanwhile, Sadiq Bey is great. Hits 5 threes, 7 rebounds, did a little bit everything. 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. And like I said, if you already won this week, you gotta pick him up before your opponent does, right? You gotta pick him up early, going to next week. If you because they're not playing this today, and if this is the last day of your matchup, you got acquisition left, then you have to pick up somebody else. Then you can. That's the only case you don't pick him up, because him and Isaiah Stewart could be a top 30, 40 guy total value next week. And if you don't care about for Sadiq Bey, if you don't care about the field goal, like he's even better, right? Josh Jackson played 35 minutes this game. Again, all these guys, you have to take a look at them because they have 5 games next week. Josh Jackson is the guy that if you don't care about the efficiencies, we could, realistically stream him. It also depends on your acquisitions. Like I said, if you have 3 full acquisitions, I think you got to pick him up. If you have like 7, you have 10, you have unlimited, right? Then maybe you can just stream a different guy every single day, right? Every single night there will be a guy better than Josh Jackson, right? But you could spend 1 acquisition to get 5 games out of that roster spot. That's worth it. Kaden Hayes is another guy for sure. You could look at him, but we know he's gonna miss, possibly. So this is the thing we don't know. How many games is he gonna miss? If he plays all 5, a must roster guy. Look at the steal numbers. Look at the assist numbers, and even gave us 2, 3, 6 rebound and a block. 10. He's been playing better and better in terms of fantasy value, like a lot of assists and steals. But we don't know. We just don't know. Like this game, Corey Joseph, Diallo. Yeah, don't stream Corey Joseph at this point. He was getting 30 minutes, and then the past couple games, he just disappeared. Maybe the coach realized why are we playing this guy, and why are we playing Wayne Allenton even? I mean, Diallo was out, so we don't know. We don't know the situation, but we do know Isaiah Stewart and Sadiq Bey need to be picked up. Everybody else, sure, you could stream them, but just remember they may not. For the Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo Ball came back, played only, this was a blowout, and playing only 20 minutes. Like I said, he's a must roster. Pretty good. I mean, this is what he does. 1-3, efficiency is a bit rough from the free throw line in front of the field, but 7 rebound, 8 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, 11 points. I mean, he's a must roster guy. Terry Rozier, great. 29 points, a block. He's a guy that gets a lot of blocks as a little guy. 29 points, yeah, pretty good. 8 threes. You know, Terry Rozier has been having a really, really great season. And in the last month, the shooting percentage dropped all the way to low 40s, 41, 42. This is one of the more of the Terry Rozier we could expect. So next season, I don't think we want to pick him at in top 40 or top 50. More like a top 70, 80 guy to me. Mainly give you the points and threes, right? This season also he's getting a lot of defensive stats. I don't know if that would continue. Because steals is one thing that from year to year could change a lot, right? Even if your role doesn't change on your team, you could realistically your steal numbers could go up like 50% even, like from like 1.5 to 1, right? That realistically could happen. PJ Washington, also a must roster guy, can give you a bit of everything. Hit 2 threes, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks. Him playing at the center would really help his defensive stats, especially with the blocks. And they have a good schedule coming up the next 2 weeks. Depending on your league, you might have 1 week left, you might have 2 weeks left. So yeah, Miles Bridges with LaMelo Ball back, he still got 36 minutes or so. Meanwhile, still must roster him. 27 points, great, efficient everywhere. In the last month, Miles Bridges has been really, really good. He's a guy that's fairly efficient and doesn't turn the ball over. And if he can give us, 20th ranked player. Before it's just he's not giving us any exciting counting stats, but really, really efficient. But in the last month, he averaged 20 points. A steal and a block, that's good enough. 7 and hit 3 threes a game. 7 rebounds, really, really good. For sure, like that's why we roster him, a top 20 guy. And this is another reason that you don't really. And Kelly Olynyk also has been playing really well, so you don't really want to give up all the hope, even though maybe your team sucks, like your second round player, third round player out for season, left and right. But around when we get to the end of the season, a lot of injuries happen, and a lot of guys, they were getting 10, 15 minutes, now getting 30, 35. They're finally free. They could give you top 30 value. Like if you have Miles Bridges and Kelly Olynyk, you could very much pick them off the waiver wire, right? And there are also guys here and there, for a weaker period of time, like a Malachi Flynn, could also give you top 25 value if that week plays 25. So you really just don't want to give up in fantasy, especially in category leagues. There's a lot you can do. Injury sucks, but if you pick up PJ Washington and Kelly Olynyk, there's only two guys I could think of right now. But for Sadiq Bey next week, right, those guys are better than, your opponent might have a top 20, 30 guy, but they miss a couple games here and there. So really, like, these guys are contributing way much. You're giving you way more stuff than the other guys. Cody Martin only had 24 minutes. Struggled, but this is the guy that we know he can get you rebound, assist, steals, and block. He did all that. But considering he only played 24 minutes, if they do have a back-to-back next week on Thursday and Friday, so I would look into on Thursday, Friday, maybe I look to stream Cody Martin, and then also Sunday. Like those, they got 4 games in that 3 day. They got 3 games in that 4 day span. I could be looking to stream Cody Martin, right? Even in 25 minutes, he could give us some good stats. Bismack Biyombo, same thing. Had 1 steal and 5 blocks. That's some crazy stuff. 9 rebound. If you need some big man stats, starting Thursday, pick up those guys. Let's go to the next game. The Golden State Warriors, and it wasn't really close, beat the Houston Rockets. Andrew Wiggins has been playing pretty well. But we remember, Golden State, they have a back-to-back coming up Monday and Tuesday. Maybe you could drop Wiggins, especially if you don't need his points. Right, this is the category he's very consistent at. If you need some efficiency, if you need a little bit more assist and rebound, that type of stuff, sure. Especially if his free throw, he's been hitting his free throws. He's a guy that can give us a little bit of everything, but it depends on what you need. You could realistically drop him after Tuesday, after their back-to-backs. This game great, 20 points. He give you a little bit of rebound, a little bit of assist, steals, blocks. Not in high volume, we know that. 2 threes, good efficiency everywhere. Draymond Green, another great one. 11 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal. Remember, if you draft Draymond Green in category leagues in the years to come, remember to pound points. Kevon Looney, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 points. He's been pretty disappointing, I would say. If you have him on your roster, drop him after Tuesday for sure, and just don't stream. I wouldn't stream him he hasn't had a great one in fantasy, at least. in real life, Curry, I don't know. He started at the shooting guard, didn't have the best game, but still 30 points and 7 threes. Still good enough. And Cam Bazemore is a guy we want to stream Monday, Tuesday for defensive stats. They give you a little bit of everything. The man's efficiency is rough, but everything else is great. Look at the 2 steals and 1 block and 9 rebounds. And wow, look at Juan Toscano Anderson. He got 35 minutes. One of the reasons is Kelly Olynyk is out. He was able to, so I want to stream him. Consider he played 35 minutes today. And he's a guy that can do everything as well. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and 5 blocks. If you stream this guy, I don't think a lot of people did. But if you stream this guy, man, this week, huge boost. Those 2 defensive categories. Huge boost. But maybe after this game, maybe to look for him to stream him on Monday, Tuesday. Jordan Poole also got 25 minutes. He's a million points and 3 guy. We know that. For the Rockets, also a lot of league winners. Also another guy that they're talking about now is Jason Tate. This Rockets team, entire team, they're just punting. Jason Tate in the last month, 83rd ranked player, but averaging 1.8 steals. Right, that's where his majority of his value come from. He's also a pretty good field guy. The free throw was a bit rough with him. But Rockets, a lot of guys opening up. Like even Kevin Porter Jr., if you're punting, I guess you have to be in the right punt build for him to be useful. But he, next week he could give you. Oh, the thing is they don't have 3 games next week, and they don't have a game Monday and Tuesday. And I talked about earlier. If you try to win efficiencies, you don't care about points. Kevin Porter Jr. is a drop, because he give you points and assists and some threes, but everything else is not great, and they only have 3 games next week. So take a look at your team, make some decisions, because you don't want to have Kevin Porter Jr. on your team and contribute mainly the points and assists, and then you end up don't really need those. So you got to look at your roster, look at what categories do you really need, especially if you need some efficiencies or some rebound and blocks, right? Because we know Kevin Porter is going to struggle from the field pretty much consistently. Get some defensive stats. He obviously went off for 50 points, but we have to be realistic. The fact that they don't have any game Monday and Tuesday, they don't have 3 games next week. Like how much value do you really have? But another thing you could do is you could just hold him till Saturday and then stream something else for Sunday. If you're unsure if you're gonna win, what categories you're gonna win, right? But we know Kevin Porter Jr. can give us points and assists. Maybe you can make a decision, save your acquisition, make a decision on Sunday. Have him play the back-to-backs Friday and Saturday. Kenny Martin Jr. also a pickup, I think. By the time Tuesday night comes around or Wednesday morning, you gotta pick up Kenny Martin Jr. He's been getting a lot of minutes. He's a guy that can get a lot of defensive stats. This game great, 16 points, 1 block. Most importantly, got 33 minutes. His free throw might be rough from time to time. Just remember that, but a prime stream candidate from Wednesday to Saturday. In those 3 days, they got 3 games in those 4 days. Christian Wood did not have the best game. Again, bad from the free throw line. So yeah, I'm okay with him struggling, but just the free throw line for next season, we have to look ahead. There's something to think about. Kelly Olynyk also, I think, must roster. I think, if you're gonna drop him after Saturday. Because realistically, he's a top 30, 40 guy that's healthy and been playing every single game. But again, if next week is our last week, then for sure drop him Saturday, right? Because that he played his last game for your league Saturday. Then you just save all your acquisitions. So what you can do is you could save a lot of your acquisitions. So after Saturday, you just drop all the players that don't have a game on Sunday. You just stream those spots. That's another strategy you could do. Jason Tate also great, 3 steals. Kevin Olynyk, 3 steals, 9 rebounds. He's a guy, 9 category machine. He could give you everything. Jason Tatum was a minus 30, horrible, but still giving us the defensive stats. He's been getting a lot of steals. Would he have the same opportunity next year on the Rockets? Maybe, I don't know. It depends on what off-season changes they're gonna make. But they got a lot of young guys. DJ Wilson also got 24 minutes, but with Christian Wood and Kelly Olynyk around, I don't think he's playing 2024. This is also a blowout, so I'm not too interested in him. Next game, the Chicago Bulls losing to another bad loss for the Bulls. Just they're curious of their standings. Yeah, they're 11th. Wow, and they're down. They're 3 games behind the Wizards. And how many games we have? We have 8 games left. They are down. Wizards. The only thing Wizards trying to do right now is trying to be the 9th seed or the 8th seed. Really, really hot right now, to be honest. And I know they lost yesterday, but they're really, really hot. And the interesting thing is they're beating a lot of the good teams. Especially like I think the only team. I saw some stat like they have a winning record against the Western Conference teams. For the Bulls, Patrick Williams, I'm not. How many games they have next week? They have 4 games, but they only have 1 game in the first 3 days. So I could look into stream Patrick Williams by Thursday, because from Thursday to Sunday they have 3 games. Thaddeus Young, wow. To be honest, like if I got Thaddeus Young, I wouldn't drop him and pick him up. I would just keep him, right? Because they got a game on Monday. Because he's getting huge minutes, man. Oh, okay, sorry, take that back. Vucevic is out. So maybe, but this is better than prime Thaddeus Young. Finally got 33 minutes. He was getting 20 to 25 minutes. Finally got the opportunity, and immediately goes up. 9 assists. What's going on? 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 20 points, and 10 for 12 from the field. Crazy stuff. Thies did not have the best game, but from the steal perspective, great. 3 steals, 7 rebounds. But Vucevic should be back next game. Garrett Temple getting the minutes, not doing anything, but 2 steals is nothing to just forget. Kobe White, I think as long as Zach LaVine is out, he needs to be rostered. Another pretty rough shooting night. I had 5 personal fouls and 4 turnovers, 12 points. How good is Kobe White? We don't know. Next season, I think don't draft him within 100. Just maybe take a flyer on him, because playing alongside Zach LaVine might be, he might be a little bit rough, but who knows? You could definitely take a late round flyer. Depending on what your team build is. Main thing is like he's not giving us any defensive stats, and his field goal is rough. He's like Trae Young, but obviously like Trae Young's points, assists, free throws, Kobe White doesn't have. So how much about he mainly just a points and threes guy, right? With bad efficiency and no defensive stats at all. Satoransky, drop him. Laurie Markin, drop him. They got 4 games, but mainly their 4 games again, like many other teams, really began on. They have 1 game in the first 3 days, so I would much prefer have somebody. I like Kobe White. Like I prefer just stream somebody else. Depending on how many acquisitions you have. Again, depending on how many acquisitions you have. You have a lot, then I think you just gotta plan out this type of stuff a little bit beforehand. For your championship week, you gotta really think. Atlanta Hawks, John Collins, played great, 4 steals and a block against the Bulls team. Maybe Kobe White was donating the ball to him. 2 threes here. John Collins, we know he got hurt. How is he in the last month? Average performance, to be honest, 95th ranked player. And they have 3 games. But the good thing is, I forgot to mention that, their games come early in the week. So you could drop John Collins. If next week is your championship week, you drop John Collins. You drop Trae Young. Right? Because they're done. They're done after Thursday, so that's actually great. You could just drop them. Right? And if you have a championship coming up, like your championship week is in 2 weeks, you can make some decisions. Right? Maybe John Collins is not. Because, if it's a close one, John Collins don't have any game the last 3 days, then what are you going to do? Bogdanovic continues to be great. Capella, let's talk about Capella. Yeah, same thing. Like, as I said, if next week is their last week, the Atlanta Hawks guys, even though they only have 3 games, but that's great. You freed up a roster spot. You could drop all of them. Drop Capella, drop Bogdanovic, drop Trae Young, drop everybody after Thursday's game, and then you stream that roster spot from Friday to Sunday. So that's really, really good. But all the guys been playing really, really well. Bogdanovic, John Collins, sure, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks. This is what he does. 8 for 9, bad for the free throw. Bogdanovic, great. 15 rebounds, 5 assists. Just did everything again. Hit 3 threes. And Trae Young coming back. This is the first game back, I believe, or second game out. Yeah, second game back. This is a good one. 11 for 12 from the free throw line, 4 threes, good efficiency, and even the 2 steals. This is the worry with Trae Young is that he doesn't get any defensive stats. Anytime he gets two, it's worth celebrating. Kevin Huerter, I think with guys back, he's not. He's also dealing with injuries himself, but pretty much everybody's back, so I wouldn't stream him. But they do have three games in the 4 days, so just given the amount of games he has, I would also stream him. To be honest, I take that back. Gallinari, again, he's gonna miss the back-to-backs, unless I really need free throws. Otherwise, I will leave him on the waiver wire. Let's go to the next game. The Miami Heat beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jimmy Butler did not have the best game, but 7 for 8 from the free throw line is great. This week he went like 49 for 50 from the free throw line. 2 steals, 4 assists. Still okay. Trevor Ariza, if you need, he's a Danny Green. Same thing. He's been getting. Well, this game wasn't really close, so nobody really played that high minutes. To be honest, easy win for the Heat. Need defensive stats and threes. He's the guy. And looking ahead, Miami Heat, they got 3 games, so for sure drop Trevor Ariza, and they don't have a back-to-back, so drop Trevor Ariza to stream somebody else. Ben, great, 13, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. Ben and Jimmy Butler, you don't drop them, in under no circumstances. You drop them. Duncan Robinson hit 6 threes. He's a 3-point streamer. He's a guy that, he broke the record, like the fastest guy to hit 500 threes in the NBA. It took him, 100-something games. So good stuff for him. Kendrick Nunn, his minutes has been really high, but because they only have 3 games, what I would do, they only have 1 game for the Miami Heat. They only have 1 game in the first 4 days. So I would definitely drop him and then pick him up on Friday and Sunday, so they got 2 games in those 3 days. Goran Dragic also a drop after tonight for sure. They have a game to. Well, let's see. But obviously, like they have a game today, and yeah, I would look into stream Kendrick now. Maybe drop him after tonight if you really need to. Partly if you're in a close, tight matchup. It's key to stream the right guys tonight. Kendrick now is a guy if you need points, some threes mainly. You could stream him. He could go out for 20, 25 points. Depend who's gonna miss the game. Jimmy Butler misses, I don't know. For sure, he gets more usage and stuff. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kevin Love, wow, 25 points, the most, 7 threes. Great. I can't believe he's still playing. Cavaliers got 4 games next week, and Kevin Love is playing back-to-backs. So if he's got the categories you want, rebound, free throw, threes, then sure, keep it. Jared Allen only took 3 shots, but grabbed 14 rebounds and a block, but just weird stuff from Jared Allen. Sadie Osman has been playing huge minutes, while Colin Sexton was out. Now that Darius Garland is a drop. I think if you got an IR, sure, put him in there, but if you don't, you can't. It sucks. He's been playing really well, but he could miss. I don't know. The rest of the season, who knows? We have 8 games left. He is questionable. For tonight's game. But if you need somebody for tonight, I mean, it's they don't have a game tonight, and they don't have a game until Tuesday, so they don't have a game on Monday. So what if he misses the next game and then misses the next game? I mean. You just pick up a Detroit guy. Like other one, he's playing, he's great, but you just can't afford to. Every game matters in the playoffs. So I would stream Sadie Osman. I would check the status. But if Darius Garland end up missing more games, I would stream Osman because he's getting huge minutes. When one of the guards is out, had pretty good game, 2 threes, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, and a steal. I mean, him stream a guy that give you 11 assists could turn the tide, with the assist category. Colin Sexton, great game. 5 for 8 from the free throw line is interesting, but 25 points, did everything. 8 assists, 4 rebound, 4 threes. These 2 guards, Darius Garland and Colin Sexton, they have really improved a lot. Just getting us the peripheral stats. Let's go to the next game. The Grizzlies, wow, lost to the Magic barely. The Grizzlies, they're trying to win. they for seeding purposes. The Golden State now is right behind them, but everybody is locked into the playing already. It's not for playing seedings, which obviously matters. Dylan Brooks hit 2 threes, 23 points. Grizzlies team, from a fantasy perspective, championship week, they got 4 games. They got 3 games in the first 4 days. And I would drop them to stream somebody else from Friday to Sunday, or play all the way to Saturday and drop another guy. Drop them for Sunday. Save the acquisition. I mean, there are a lot of things you could do. If you're unsure which categories you want, but if you're trying to win field goals, Dylan Brooks, maybe next week you could consider dropping after Thursday for sure. 23 points, pretty good. Sorry, 45% is not great, but not the worst. But nothing else for him this game. And Kyle Anderson is still getting the minutes. JJJ played today. Yesterday had 21 minutes. But JJJ, it's rough. What are you gonna do with him? If you need 3 and blocks, you gotta have him on your team. Otherwise, you drop him. Right? I would keep him till Wednesday because he might miss the back-to-backs. So you get 3 games, and the only category he give you is points and rebounds. So. Points and blocks. So you could consider dropping it. Look at this game; he only played 21 minutes. Kyle Anderson, I will feel much more comfortable having Kyle Anderson on my team. He's a guy that does everything. I mean, he hit 3 threes and 21 points. He's usually not a big points guy, but he hit 3. This season, he's been taking threes, and obviously we know he can grab rebound, get assists, steals, and blocks. Great game, and efficiency-wise, he's good. Valanciunas, grade 1, 16 points, 16 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks. Finally, a good blocks game. His blocks is really lacking this season. But if you need rebound, you know where to get. You could get him realistically after top 50. Really, really big rebound guy. Desmond Bain, not the best. Ja Morant had 6 turnovers, but 2 threes, 7 assists. This is a world with Ja Morant. Just 2 threes is good this game, but he only took 3 attempts. So if just get some assists and points really. No defensive stat, no threes as a guard. Jared Jackson Jr. had 2 blocks and 7 rebounding in 21 minutes. I don't think he's a must roster guy. What are we playing for? We have like 1 or 2 weeks left. What are we doing with these guys? Can't hold on to them. For the Magic, wow, Wagner actually played 34 minutes because Okiki was out. Magic schedule. So what category does Wagner really give us? He could give us some point. They have 4 games, but they don't have a back-to-back. So I'm just like less interested in a lot of guys. Wendell Carter Jr. is the only guy that I like. Everybody else is up and down. Although Cole Anthony really went off 26-8. Cole Anthony, if you need an assist, I don't hate it to have him on your team. I thought Mo Bamba is going to get a majority of the minutes, but Wendell Carter Jr. is out. Was out. But if he's playing, then Mo Bamba still got 21 minutes. Had to steal at 2 blocks. They don't have to consider they don't have a back-to-back next week, so I really wouldn't go for Mo Bamba. Garrett Harris also pretty washed at this point, and I wouldn't feel comfortable streaming Wagner as well. I mean, he doesn't have one category. He's a big man that shoots threes, so maybe a little bit points and a little bit rebound. I don't like. If beginning of the week, I'm not sure which categories I'm gonna win then, or I'm trying to fight to win. Then I could stream him for the first few days to see what happens. But I think there's just better talent out there among many other teams, right? With all the injuries going on. What is the line? What is the score? 152-95. Pacers beating Oklahoma City. Look at O'Shea Brissett is a must roster guy. Look at this. Sabonis came back. He started at the center. He played 30 minutes. Sure, Sabonis is a great one. We're not talking about Sabonis, right? But Pacers, they got 4 games next week. They have 5 games in the last week of the season. They are not gonna rest this guy O'Shea. They're not gonna rest him. They're gonna rest Sabonis. They're gonna rest everybody else, but they're not gonna rest him. He could be, if you punting, maybe he's a bad free throw guy. If you punt a free throw guy, he could be a top 20, top 15. Who knows? Maybe even better, because the defensive stats he's giving. And look at the minutes. He's a must roster in the last month. Only 92nd ranked player. But think it's consider the volume of games they have, and consider this game Sabonis came back and he played 40 minutes. He's a must roster. Very simple. McDermott also could look into stream him with everybody else. We don't know when Malcolm Brogdon is back, but could look into streaming 31 points here. But against a bad Oklahoma City team, we know he can score some buckets. Sabonis great. I mean, 19 rebounds, 14 assists. You hold on to him, see how many games he will play. Hopefully, he plays a lot of them next week. And he's got to rest. Their final week, they have 5 games. Karis LeVert, meanwhile, great. With everybody in and out of the lineup, he's giving us really good points, assists, steals, and blocks. Great. Efficiency-wise, it's been okay lately. Has been okay, obviously, against a bad Oklahoma City team. But you hold on to him because the scheduling is too good. TJ McConnell only got 19 minutes. That is really surprising. But I guess it's just a blowout. There's no point playing him high minutes. A lot of the bench guys. TJ McConnell, they got 4 games. If you need assists and steals, he's the must roster next week. But again, if you're going to lose assists and lose steals, then what's the point? Right? If you try to win rebound, blocks, threes, those categories, then he's a drop because he's not contributing in those categories. Otherwise, sure, he's one of the biggest steals guys in the entire league. Right? That's why I think most teams going to the matchup, you don't know if you're going to win steals unless the other team's got all the steals guys. Otherwise, you always get a share. You always got a shot. Justin Holiday also could look into stream him next week or the week after. They do have backs. Yeah, they have 3 games in the first 4 days. You could drop some of them after Thursday because then the last 3 days only have 1 game. But it depends. You could drop them Saturday, right? But need to pick them up again for next week, the final week, because they got 5 games. For Oklahoma City, their 5 week is almost over. They still have 4 games next week. But those 4 games is toward the end of the week. From Thursday to Sunday, they have 3 games. The first 3 days, they only have 1 game. But, a lot of guys have value, maybe in terms of counting stats, but efficiency is rough. There is Basley, we know. The 10 points, he's not a good fantasy guy. I think we know that for sure. Only give you, at the end of the day, only give you points and rebound, nothing else. And who knows next season how many minutes he's going to get. So, yeah. I wouldn't even draft him next season. I'll be okay because so far what we've seen, just some points and some rebound and efficiency is bad, and no defensive stats. Isaiah Roby 1 for 8, 1 steal, not the best. They got destroyed obviously. Moses Brown probably played the best on this team. 60 points, 7 for 9 from the field, 7 rebound, but just really up and down. Theo Maledon 2 for 14 again. This guy, his shooting has got to be the worst in the league. I don't know. It's got to be one of the worst in the league. Got to be. 2 for 14 again, 8 points. Just across the board, they got destroyed. And, a lot of guys that I don't even know played, like Gabriel Deck, Josh Hall. Those guys got in 24 minutes. They have another game today, so yeah, sure. But I'll be dropping all those guys after tonight. Maybe pick them up later in the second half of the week because they only have 1 game the first 3 days. That's not good enough. Let's go to the next team. Disappointing Wizards. They lost by 1 point. They're playing really, really well at the moment. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go in at the 10th seed and they make to 7 or 8 seed. I'm not surprised at all. They are so much better at the moment. They're playing so much better than teams that are on the 7th or 8th seed, right? Well, maybe they don't beat the Miami Heat, but the Pacers, the Hornets. I mean, sure, they're better than them. Bradley Beal, great, 29 points, 2 steals. But with Russell Westbrook around, you're not gonna get many rebound or assists, to be honest. But you're gonna get plenty of points. 10 for 11 from the free throw line is good. And the Wizards, they also have a great. This is what they got. They have 5 games next week. Sorry, they have 4 games next week. Oh, they only have 4 games. What's going on? Why did I say they have 5 games? Okay, but their schedule is decent enough. They have 4 games next week and 4 games the week after. Oh yeah, they have yeah. So some of the guys you could potentially stream, but Russell Westbrook has been so good. Because Wizards, remember the beginning of the season they missed a lot of games, COVID. They missed like, I don't know, 6, 7 games. And after that, I don't did Russell Westbrook miss a game? He did not. I don't think he missed a game. This game, man, he went off. He really tried to get his team to win, but 42 points, 10 rebound, and good efficiency. A 5 for 7 is great. I mean, I don't care. I don't. 5 for 7 is great from the free throw line. 3 threes, 9 assists, 2. I mean, I don't know what this man can do, and only 2 turnovers. If you traded him, man, helping you win rebound, assists every single week, pretty much. Ron Neto, okay, the minutes is pretty high. Like, I'll be okay. They have a back-to-back next week. Stream him, and Daniel Gafford, I think, is a must roster especially if you need rebound. The big man stat, the field goal, the rebound, and the blocks. He's giving you such a boost in those 3 categories. You gotta grab him. Davis Bertans, a guy that hit threes. Sure, he could give you average 3 threes a game. And look at Alex Len, only 4 minutes. So Daniel Gafford, more times than not, he's getting 25 minutes. So we have to grab him for next week. Could realistically have, I don't know, 15 blocks next week. Have you win the matchup 5-4 and we'll just win you the league. But it sucks they lost this game. For the Mavericks, Dorian Finney-Smith came back and a huge game. He hit the game winner. 22 points, 6 threes. Mavericks got 5 games this week, and next week, they have 4 games. But they have a back-to-back Thursday, Friday. So I'll probably drop Dorian Finney-Smith after tonight, and they have a game on Sunday as well. So maybe drop him on Sunday and pick him back up for back-to-backs. And again, depend on how many acquisitions you have. Maxi Kleber, the block number has been really low. He hit 5 threes, but I wouldn't even stream him when they have a back-to-back, to be honest. I would stream Josh Richardson still, although he really struggled this game. 1 3, 2 steals and a block. He has not been good this season. Luka Doncic played 40 minutes. A huge one. 20 assists. Again, it's a pretty, more times than not, he had a bad free throw night. 6 for 11. He's really got to fix it this offseason. I don't know. No defensive stats again. 31 points is great. 20 assists is really, really good. For sure, if you're down, 20 assists, I mean, he made it competitive going to Sunday, right? Willie Cauley-Stein, 27 minutes. He's a guy that we could continue streaming when Porzingis comes back, but maybe Porzingis comes back next week. Porzingis is a guy that you should probably dropped him a long time ago. We know he came back and played 1 game, but then immediately he missed the next 2 games. But it's hindsight, I know. Consider he played Thursday. The expectation is like he will play 1 game, but he's going to miss both Saturday and Sunday. Tim Hardaway Jr. continues to be hot. He had like 42 points the other night. But we look at Doncic's back. He's not going to go too crazy. Hit 2 3, 60 points. He could be a 3-point streamer for next week. We know that. Okay, we got 2 games. Let's do it. The Utah Jazz beating the Raptors. Okay, Raptors made it competitive, but they are out. They are out. They are a 12th seed. They are 3 games behind the Wizards. Why? I mean, Kyle Lowry realistically. Let's look at the Toronto Raptors. Their schedule. Yeah, they have 3 games next week. So yeah, if I got Kyle Lowry, I'd probably drop him after Saturday. Oh yeah, I mean, depend. They have 4 games. I just really don't think they have 4 games last week of the season. If your league still has the playoffs, if you're still in it. But they have a back-to-back. For sure, they're not going to play Kyle Lowry. And who knows, are they going to play Kyle Lowry the last game? He probably plays 20 minutes and just, plays around. But, Malachi Flynn is a guy that I want to pick up. Although, probably dropping off today because they don't have 3 games. But Malachi Flynn is a guy you should have picked up beginning of the week. He got 36 minutes, had 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. Did not 2 threes. I mean, not too exciting. Didn't look that good. But 6 assists is good, and still good enough value across the board. Fred VanVleet played 40 minutes, had a great one. 4 threes, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. But they really have nothing to play for at all at this point. They really don't. But great one from Fred VanVleet. And Cam Birch should continue to play good enough minutes, so he's a must roster. Good rebound, 6 assists even, good efficiency. Pascal Siakam, what's the point of playing him 9 minutes? I don't know. Maybe they will also get rested down the line. And OG, wow, they played 40 minutes. Scary stuff, OG. Another great one, a steal and block, 3-3, 17 points from OG. For the Jazz, Bogdanovich, yeah, I mean, really, in the last month, obviously we got two Bogdanoviches. This Bogdanovich on the Jazz also been playing pretty well. Let's see, Bohan, yeah. 111th ranked player, but averaging 20 points and 2.5 threes. So if you're on team, we know this guy doesn't give us net defensive stats and assists or rebound, but we know he scores a bunch of points. He averaged 20 points. So if you need points, sure, last month he's been giving it to you because not Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell was out. This game, Mike Conley is also out. So Royce O'Neal started at the shooting guard. Weird stuff. Nan is not a good fantasy guy, so they got a lot of injuries going on at the moment, but I wouldn't touch him. I think I would for sure grab Bogdanovich for points and threes. For sure grab Joe Ingles for threes, assists, and a little bit defensive stats and points. And Jordan Clarkson. Those guys should give us good enough value. And Mike Conley is also out this game. Royce O'Neal is a guy that grab you rebound. He did that. But everything else has been hit some threes, maybe 2 threes, 1.5 threes. But just very low end value. And the Jazz, do they have a good schedule next week? They have full games next week, but their back to back is Friday and Saturday. But they have a game every other day. So it depends, right? But the good news is you could drop all of them after Saturday, and then during the stream. So you could get 5 games out of that roster spot using only one acquisition if you already got one of those guys on your roster. Not much to talk about the Jazz. The last game of the night is the Denver Nuggets beating the Clippers. This is the game of the night. Jokic, great, 30 points. Jokic is just being so good. I mean, there were talks with him, talking about potentially rest him, but he's fully healthy, and we know he doesn't want to rest, obviously. And he's a young guy. They have 4 games next week. We'll see. If Jokic is gonna rest, it's gonna be the back-to-back. And if that's your championship week, he rests Saturday. That's great. Drop him. Right? Stream the roster spot. He's done everything for us, for the owners all season. Really, really good. 10 for 10 from the free throw also. 10 for 10. 10 for 10 to me is like 30 plus points. The impact it has. Michael Porter Jr. also great. Even got 5 assists. Continues to shoot the ball crazy well. In the last month, I mean, what is he at in the last month? 8th ranked player. I mean, what else to say? Insane efficiency for threes, averaging 23, 22 points with Jamal Murray out. Really good stuff. Aaron Gordon, the minutes is okay, but not really doing much. He's not taking that many shots. PJ Dozier, the minutes is super high. I think next week we also want to stream him. He's a guy, I mean, he doesn't really give you that one category, but he can give you a little bit of everything else. So if you're unsure which categories you could win or you could lose, I would stream him beginning of the week. And once we get to later half, then make decision that Campazzo, he's supposed to give us assists and steals. Only 3 assists and no steals, but he's a guy we could for sure stream next week if you need assists and steals mainly. But it's like TJ McConnell. If you know you're gonna lose assists or if you know you're gonna lose steals, I mean, then there's no point. And for the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard finally came back. Did not have the best game, but considered his first game back. Again, they don't have a good playoff schedule for the Clippers. They have 3 games next week, and realistically, if it's your last week, next week, and you have a lot of acquisition, I would drop Kawhi Leonard after Thursday. I want to stream somebody with a back-to-back Friday, Saturday, and pick up another guy on Sunday. That way, I get three games out of Kawhi Leonard, out of that roster spot. Something to think about. Depend on what makes sense, right? If everybody else on your roster have 3 games from Friday to Sunday, have 2 games, then Kawhi Leonard maybe is a drop. Depend on what you need, because Kawhi Leonard is not a guy that as good as he is in fantasy. Which category does he really, other than the steals, right? But one game of steals doesn't really matter much. So if you really need some blocks, especially blocks and rebound, then I'm okay with dropping Kawhi Leonard, right? Stream some big dude for 3 games, help me win those categories. So yeah, just another thing you can think about. Like if that's the last week, you could drop anybody. Like Jokic is the guy you could, well, due to scheduling, you probably won't choose drop, but yeah, you could drop anyone. Paul George struggled from the field 5 to 21, but still good enough. In the last month, he's been really, really good with Kawhi Leonard out. Can't really complain too much from Paul George. But for next season, I don't know. Do you really want to draft him in the top 15? I mean, everything else is great, but we know he's going to miss some games, and the steal numbers is not coming back. So I don't know, right? Yeah, for a guy as good as Kawhi Leonard, we don't even want to draft him in the top 15, because he's missing out. Obviously, he played back to back this year, so that resets our expectations. But yeah, I'm just talking about for next year's. Zubac, disappointing. I don't think he's a must roster guy. They don't have a good playoff schedule. I would, if you need big man stats, Daniel Gafford is so much better. Marcus Morris Sr. also did not have the best game. Nobody played well. Again, due to the bad scheduling. Is he that attractive? I don't think so. Rondo went off. Waiting to see playoff Rondo. Clippers and Lakers, I really want to see the matchup in the playoffs. Want to see it happen. Rondo, maybe he's a difference maker. Who knows? 30 minutes. He played 30 minutes. 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 18 points. Really, really good stuff. Reggie Jackson, yeah. Basically, due to the poor scheduling next week, now the Clipper guys, I mean, it's probably a drop. Everybody, other than Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. But again, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Paul George is a guy that mainly give you points, mainly give you threes, right? Rough efficiency. If you need big man stats, is a guy you could also, like, if you're going to think about dropping Kawhi Leonard for that one game, because they have only one game the last 3 days, just something to think about. That's it for all the games. I will see you guys tomorrow.